Hi everyone, it's Cindy and welcome back to the channel. I hope you are all enjoying a very relaxing and exciting holiday season. I'm very excited to share with you today a new build. This is my very first ever build shell challenge, and I decided to do Miss Gryphi's Dino shell challenge, which, let me tell you, challenge it certainly was. It might not have been the best choice as my very first ever shell challenge. The rounded walls definitely gave me a little bit of extra work, but overall, I think it came out really nicely. So I hope you will enjoy this. I am building today in Willow Creek, and if you want to place this on the very same lot that I built it on, it is the Hollow Slough lot in Willow Creek, which is opposite from where the Goth's house is originally placed in the game. And the build comes in at just over 100,000 simoleons. It's actually 102,000 simoleons. And if you enjoy today's build, it is available on the gallery. It is called Gryphi Dino Shell Final, I believe, and you can find it under my hashtag, which is Hygge. That's hashtag HYGGEHAVEN. And so this is available pre-built and furnished for your enjoyment. So as you can see, I am just working on the exterior here. Like I said, it was definitely a challenge, and the roofing was quite tricky. I'm not, as I said in one of my previous videos, something that I don't really consider myself a builder. I'm much more of a decorator, but I am trying to, branch out and practice more, and this kind of build and challenge definitely helps with that. But the roofing, I'm still not entirely sure what my skill level is, so hopefully you will enjoy the roofing. It does definitely take some practice, so congratulations and kudos to all of you who are excellent roofers out there. I do applaud you. So yes, just getting some of the exterior done, and I'm adding in some stairs. I've got most of the windows placed. So with this build, I have used a lot of eco lifestyle windows, and I really wanted, when I started to work on this build, to have a lot of those kind of modern features. There were a few things that I played around with before I really jumped into it, but I knew that I wanted to use a lot of kind of masonry features on a lot of the bump outs that Tanya has included in this build. So you'll see that I've got some gray stonework, and I've paired it with this stucco that has a bit of a stripe to it that I thought was an interesting feature on the exterior. And I thought that the eco lifestyle windows were just really funky and would really add a lot of personality to this build and complement those unusual shapes a little bit more. And also to work in with some of the overhangs and so forth. So I hope you enjoy that. And I really liked these ones that I've put here on the side of the living room that jut out and meet in the middle for a bit of a three-dimensional feature as well. I thought that looked really great, so I hope you enjoy that too. And then with the decorating, I've also used a lot of the Desert Luxe kit because I haven't really had an opportunity to use much of that pack, so I'm trying to include that in a lot of builds right now, just to get some more enjoyment out of that pack. So hopefully you enjoy those features as well. So yeah, just doing some landscaping here now that I've got a lot of the general exterior done. I added in this wall going around, and I'm just putting some shrubs around that as well. You'll see that I'm flipping them every which way every so often just to give some more variation so that they don't all look the same. And I go in later and add some terrain painting in. I didn't go really over the top with the landscaping here. In addition to the fence and the hedge around the perimeter, I've kept it pretty simple and pretty clean. I've used a lot of cypress trees, resized down a little bit around the building, and a lot of kind of ferns and decorative grasses underneath the trees just to give a little bit of a more lush and fuller feeling. And then I've popped in a few places, such as here, some additional bushes, and they just have like the white flowers just for a nice, clean and simple look. So hopefully you enjoy that sort of landscaping. I didn't want to go too over the top because honestly, this build, it almost broke me trying to work out how to furnish it, and even just like the placements of the rooms. I think the first floor, the floor plan came together pretty easily, but then I struggled a bit with the second floor. So yeah, needed to keep the landscaping reasonably simple because the inside was definitely a challenge, as the name suggested. So just popping some external lights on here, and you can see that I've used the Desert Luxe awning in the back there, so I really enjoyed that look, and just adding in that terrain painting here as well. And so with the outside, I've used in the back patio space and on the driveway these really nice gray pavers, and I thought that complemented the gray stonework on the building very nicely as well. And for the balconies, because I decided to keep some space out at the back for a back balcony, and then the top of the rounded wall room, I used that as a balcony space as well, and I used the flooring from the Desert Luxe, which is like large concrete slabs. So I thought that really added to that nice modern look. And I've also popped in this beautiful Desert Luxe fireplace as well. And the tree that I had placed behind it initially, I really liked. And then I put the fireplace in, and when I pulled back the camera, I realized that the tree was pretty much overhanging into the fireplace, which is a clear fire hazard. So you'll see I have swapped that out for a skinnier, taller tree. So the outside is pretty much finished now, and I'm moving inside. Like I said, the floor plan, I found the downstairs was pretty easy to come up with a floor plan. I knew that for the rounded wall room, I definitely wanted to use that as a dining room and really use those windows as a nice feature that you could sit at the dining room table and look out through those beautiful windows. But then the rest of the floor plan, it came together pretty easily, but the second floor was definitely a lot more of a challenge trying to decide where I was going to work in the bedrooms and the bathrooms and some unusual shapes up there. But I think overall I'm pretty happy with the layout now. So I decided here behind the dining room would be the kitchen, and ideally I would have liked to have had a direct breezeway between the kitchen and the living room without having to go out into the hallway, but there was such a limited amount of space. Once I put in all these gorgeous, beautiful windows, I realized, ooh, I don't have a lot of wall space left for counters and cabinetry and such. So I have done a archway out into the living room, but it's literally just, not out into the living room, out into the hallway, but it's literally just around the corner and you're into the dining room. So I feel that's pretty acceptable. So I have used a lot of Dream Home Decorator in this space. So again, Dream Home Decorator cupboards and counters, which are some of my favorite. You'll see here I'm just popping some items up into this upper cabinet. And for some reason, when I came back into the game after I worked on it for a while, those items had disappeared and gone into my Sims inventory. I don't know why that has happened. So I've replaced them. I've put them all back in, and hopefully when you download this build, they will still be there, but there is the possibility that they'll have disappeared. And I apologize if that's the case. I'm not really sure why that has happened, but hopefully it will be fixed now. So here I've moved into the dining room, and I love the curved walls that they added to the game with high school years, but they are still quite glitchy and a bit tricky to use. You can see here I decided to reduce the number of chairs, and I struggled for a while with not being able to, first of all, add the chairs and then later remove the chairs. And I don't know, there's something weird with the game that when you have the game in walls up mode, it's very difficult to grab things and sometimes even place things in a room with a rounded wall, and you have to set the walls to be cut away or fully down before they place properly. So that was a little bit interesting. But eventually I got there. I didn't clutter the dining room up too much because, again, those walls were really causing some issues with placing items. So it's just, a nice, clean, modern home that is not too overly cluttered. And I kept with a lot of neutrals. I don't know, I seem to be in a real neutral, like nice warm cream, beiges and whites and soft browns. That just seems to be my vibe lately. Normally I like a lot of color, but I don't know, I'm just really into the neutrals lately. So hopefully you also enjoy a neutral color palette, because that seems to be what I am inspired with recently. So yeah, the foyer, very clean. There's a nice marble sideboard I've added in there with just a nice simple bowl and some cell phone and keys on it. I've used the same curtains throughout the entire build, those beautiful Desert Luxe partially sheer curtains. And then I've just done a little downstairs bath, kept it nice simple, a nice sink with a pretty mirror, toilet. And this area, this was a really weirdly shaped room. So I decided to make it into a little office and personal library study space, and I knew I wanted to include a fireplace somewhere, and initially I was debating on putting the fireplace in the living room, but then I felt like, oh, it might divide the room up too much, having like a fireplace area and then a television lounge area. So I decided to put the fireplace here in the office study room, and I quite like how it turned out. Even though it's an unusual room shape, you kind of have like this area next to the window where you've got your um, desk and you can sit there and work on the computer, and then you've got over by the fireplace a nice little place to sit and read and be all cozy and such. So I think that turned out really nice. And then here in the living room, we've got a lot of space to work with. So I decided, instead of just putting in a sideboard with a TV, I would do like a whole TV shelving cabinetry area. So I don't usually do those in my sim houses, so I took advantage of that. And then here, this sideboard area, I thought I might be able to get away with using that really cute pink tiled sideboard that came with the pastel pop kit, because it kind of picks up the pink in the rug that I decided to go with. But I don't know, I felt like it was a little bit too much, so I swapped it out for a more neutral sideboard instead. And I've put in these two little coffee tables. I've downsized one because I really love the look of that, and I've popped some Kleenexes on there. I've lowered them down to the appropriate height with the red shelf there, because otherwise, if Sims place things on there, they will float. So hopefully that should prevent any floating objects. And then just adding a few more elements into the shelves and onto the coffee tables. And I really love that rug that I put in there. I think that little extra pop of color really adds to the room. So now we're working on the upstairs area, and here, like I said, I wanted to use this area above the dining room as an outdoor patio space, and then I discovered, as you can see very clearly, that the curtains, because of the rounded wall, they have kind of popped through the ceiling a little bit, and I tried for so long to try and cover them with planter boxes and all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't working. So I've just decided, it's a feature of the outside patio area, and we're just going to go with that. So I just put in a lounge chair and a couple of, decorative planters, and then kind of called that done. But I do go back to that space and adjust it a little bit later in the build, which you'll see. So here I'm starting in on the bedrooms. This is, I don't know, I guess you could kind of call this the master bedroom. Honestly, both bedrooms have an attached ensuite bathroom, so either of them could be a master bedroom. This one has a walkout with a sliding glass door out to an upstairs patio, but the other one has just an ensuite bathroom and some nice big windows as well. So they're both really nice, spacious, lovely bedrooms to choose from. And here I'm just adding in some clutter on the dresser. There's both a nice big standing wardrobe And then this little side dresser with a nice big mirror. So that space I think would be really nice for your sim to kind of get ready in the morning. And I also added in some ceiling fans. I don't often put ceiling fans in my builds, but I don't know. I just thought, oh, that'd be something kind of nice and different to add into this one. So here we're just doing the ensuite bath. It is quite small, so there isn't a shower tub. There isn't even a proper enclosed shower stall. I just have this open one from university, but I feel like, you know, it fits. I do go in later on after the video and I add some tiling around some of the walls where the open shower is to make it a little bit more realistic. And then I'm just doing the upstairs hallway here, and that area where there's like a bump out into the balcony area, I wanted to put in maybe some vases at first, and then the vases that I was looking at, I realized had this corner little table and vase piece that I think came from Get Famous, and I like never use it. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity. So I'm really glad that I found that. I've popped that in there. And then as you can see, I've pulled the lounge chair that was at the front rounded patio over here to the back where you walk out from one of the bedrooms because I felt like there was just a bit more privacy. Like if you're going to be lying on a lounge chair, maybe you don't want to be doing that in what is essentially your front yard. Seemed a little bit weird, so I moved that out into the back for a little more privacy area and added a bar in. And now we've moved into the second bedroom and ensuite bath. And this is such a weird shape for a bathroom, and yet I actually really like how it turned out. So I have added the shower tub combo in that other bathroom. I was originally going to put a double sink in there, but then I thought, well, you know, if you do move in a family here or you decide to have pets, you're going to need a bathtub to bathe any dogs or toddlers and so forth. So I put the shower tub combo in there. And I don't know, I just liked how it worked out. And then I added a couple of extra features into the other ensuite bathroom as well. So they have a little bit of a similar vibe going on. And with the second bathroom, or sorry, the second bedroom rather, I'm using some walls from, I think this was the Moschino pack. So they're slightly not walls, windows from the Moschino pack that are slightly open, and I really like the look of that. And I love this bed from high school years with the pink and the gold, and oh, it's just beautiful. So yeah, just adding in some clutter here. I also use that really funky wall mirror from the Pastel Pop kit. I'm trying to work that into builds where it just feels like, you know, you need something a little bit extra, and I think that this room could definitely use that. And then here we are again. Since I moved the lounger out of this front balcony, I decided to add in a little yoga area, and now we're just doing some finishing touches. I added an accent wall in the living room, and I swapped out the rug there, and I come in here and I change out what's on this sideboard as well. And I really like what I've put in with the sideboard and added some bar stools there. Your Sims can't sit there, but I like the look of it. And that is pretty much this build done. So if you've enjoyed this build, please go ahead and like the video, and why not take a moment to subscribe? And if you turn on those notifications, you will be notified of any future uploads. And that is all for today, and I will leave you with the screenshots. Have a wonderful day.